Girish, Pramani, Heer and Ranjha.
दुनिया के लिए आप एक छोटे से इंसान हो, पर एक इंसान के लिए आप सारी दुनिया हो. This is a beautiful saying in Hindi, which you all probably understood, but I'll still translate it to English, which means, for the world, you might just be one person, but for one person, you might be the whole world. I want to take you all to the 16th century, to a small town, to the wonderland in India, in Punjab. Just like Jeff here, there lived a young, charming, and talented man named Ranjha. Ranjha's talent was playing the flute. The sweet sound that would make the birds sing, the clouds rain, and make his dad angry. Ranjha was an easygoing man. He was a simple man. When he was denied the right to his family property, he just takes his harmonious flute and shoots off to discover the world. While on a boat crossing the river, he meets this beautiful young woman. She is as lovely as the moon. She's a fairy on earth. She sees the youth of waterfalls in Ranjha. She sees the freshness of mountains in him. She is Heer. Their eyes meet on the battlefield of love, and they surrender to the flow. Heer, she comes from a rich landlord family. She offers Ranjha a job in her father's farm as a shepherd. Every morning, Ranjha would take the sheep for a stroll, eat with his magical flute. Heer's heart turns into a love machine. She follows Ranjha into the jungle where the secret romance begins. Every day, she would lie down in his lap for hours. Ranjha would say, "Heer, you look so beautiful that you give the sun a reason to shine." To which she would say, She would bring him lunch every day to the farm. He would say, "Heer, there's something wrong with my eyes. I cannot take them off you." To which she would say, They would walk hand in hand every day in the forest for hours and hours. Heer would say, "Ranjha, I like kissing you, but your mustache comes in between us." To which Ranjha would take out his flute and play. Heer's heart swells with happiness. Heer and Ranjha were the Monica and Girish of their era. Love was in the air, but like every story has a bad man, every family has an evil uncle. Heer's uncle finds out about the secret romance and informs the family. How can Heer romance a poor shepherd? How can Heer romance a poor shepherd from a poor tribe? Says the angry father. And he decides to get Heer married against her will. With thorns in his heart now, Ranjha is heartbroken. He doesn't know what to do. He becomes a yogi. He's an aimless traveler whose only aim is to find his long-lost love. Heer, on the other side, is heartbroken too. Her heart craves for Ranjha and her soul hates her husband. A year passes by and Heer still breathes Ranjha's name. She has his tears in her eyes. One day, Heer hears about Ranjha being in a nearby town and her heart reignites. She writes him a love letter and sends it through a messenger, to which his soul reignites. His destiny is to be with Heer, and they reunite. Ranjha's flute now spreads the message of love and happiness throughout Punjab. A married woman with a yogi! A married woman with a yogi! The whole town is talking about them. The king hears about them and summons both of them to the court. The king was a wise man, but his kingdom or his court knew about love which had boundaries. The king says, "You cannot break the social barriers. You cannot be together." Their world burns, destroys. Their world is crushed. Destiny made them cry, and they curse that the whole kingdom will cry. Their curse burns down the kingdom to ashes. The powerless king and his kingdom now realize the power of love. The king calls them back to the court and says, social boundaries are supposed to spread love and not limit it. Your story, your love, is an example of limitless love. And may you reunite forever and ever and ever. Punjab now rejuvenates with the joy of love. Love is in the air, love is in people's heart, and Ranjha's music is in people's soul. With the triumph of love, the evil uncle now makes a comeback. He is still unhappy. Heer and Ranjha decide to get married. The day Heer and Ranjha are supposed to get married, the evil uncle Kaido poisons Heer. Ranjha hears about it. He rushes to save Heer, but it's a bit too late. Ranjha takes the bottle of the poison and says, "If this evil world cannot let us live together, let us die together." And he drinks the poison and dies by her side. A famous monument was built in Punjab, which is now Pakistan, where lovers from all over the world now come and pay their respect and their tribute to Heer and Ranjha's sacrifice for love. Love, ladies and gentlemen, is like a flower. We need to let it grow. If you have love in your life, if you have that special someone, go home and show it to them. Because love is not a verb. Love is not a noun, but it's a verb to be acted out. दुनिया के लिए आप एक छोटे से इंसान हो, पर एक इंसान के लिए आप सारी दुनिया हो.